Good morning, everyone.
Hello, happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
Hey, you were like, hello.
Yeah, hello. No, that's because I was closing the door because I had to coax Finnegan in.
Oh, Finny.
Yes, he wasn't quite sure.
Our honorary host.
Yeah, that's right. Whether he wanted to stay staring out the window to see if his cousin dog showed up or not. So.
Oh. Well, we have Jules Harris with us today.
Yes.
She's our member of the week.
Yay.
Congratulations,
Yay.
Jules. That's excellent. Yeah, that's great. So hello to everyone. Good to see you again, Vicki and Betsy.
Yes.
Vicki and I will be spending some more quality time together in a little bit. In 2 hours from now, we'll be beginning our official kickoff of the Secret Santa Challenge, and Vicki has been conscripted as another one of our lead elves. So I'm very excited to have her help. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the live cast. So all about the Secret Santa Challenge and things. So whether you gave a wish or you're an elf, stay tuned and we'll talk about that. And even if you didn't and you're just interested, we'll talk about that. But we should first say hello to people. And Fiordalisi was the first one in. Happy first day of winter or summer, depending on where you are. Yeah. It's officially summer where you are, Vicki?
Officially, yes. And I just remembered I didn't put the fan, so I'm going to be hot soon.
Needing the fan on when you have a Christmas tree in the background just seems so weird to me.
Yeah, imagine we have this man disguised as Santa on the streets.
And does he wear the whole thing with the fur?
With the beard and everything.
But does
with
he wear
the hat?
Wow.
And does he wear swim shorts then?
No. And boots and everything.
Oh, he does it. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Poor guys.
Wow, that would be sad. So along with Anne came Dee. Dee Spencer Carr is here, celebrating her birthday at midnight. Nice. I won't reveal what you have to look in the chat to see the number. I don't want to reveal that online. But congratulations, Dee. Hillary from Wales, who made a great discovery. Very exciting for that. Amanda from Melbourne. And just Judy Stutz is here. Excellent. Klaus Jensen. Veg Beauty is here. Yoke is here from the Netherlands. Chris Ferriolo. Welcome, Chris. Bienvenuto. Hello. Lots of people are saying hi to you, Finnegan. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Yeah. I don't know. And Mary Sleppy is here. Hey there, Mary. John Tyner from Ireland. Did I miss Murray Maloney? Hi there, Murray.
Hey, Mary.
I might have gone through. Oh, there's Margaret Tull and Susie Carta. Okay, I think I hit everyone, but I might have scrolled too fast. And if I did, sorry about that. And welcome to everyone who is here watching us after the fact. So, yeah. So, Vicki, do you want to start with our guest of honor?
Okay, yeah. I don't know. Maybe you have to leave early, Jules. You tell us.
No, I've managed to sort out an easy-to-cook meal, so it's not a problem.
Great. Yeah, we had to ask. Well, we have Jules, our member of the week, and she's a member of the Connectors Project and of the England Project, and she's in charge of Kent County. So she's a leader for that. And you joined in 2020, right? Yes. Yes. And tell us, why did you join WikiTree? How did you find WikiTree? And where does your interest of genealogy come from? I know because I read, but we want to hear it from you.
I'll share it with everybody. So I was a member of Ancestry, like a lot of people, and and because of my own stupidity, frankly, I ended up with members of my family that were really not members of my family because everybody just click, 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 click. And then I don't know how I stumbled across WikiTree, probably through a search, but I did. And I sort of read up on all the various introductory mails and pages, etc., and thought, properly sourced stuff, that's got to help. So I joined WikiTree, and I've started to put my tree into WikiTree. I've got quite a long way through now. I had a family myth. So I'm an adopted person, and in my adoptive family, they believed that Sissinghurst Castle, which is a very pretty castle in Kent, in England, belonged to us. It was our family seat, as it's called in posh parlance. I wasn't so sure. And in fact, my one remaining cousin in the family, who I'm in regular contact with, also wasn't so sure. I've now completely debunked that myth. The John Baker, who everybody reckoned was our relative, when he died unmarried and with no issue, and didn't recognise any born the wrong side of the sheets issue either, which is the gap required that says, not ours at all. We're descended from agricultural labourers, good old-fashioned tillers of the earth, not landed gentry. But that was using WikiTree that I found that out. So not descended from gentry, I'm afraid, just good common old workers.
And you discovered your blood family, right? And now you have a
I took a
challenge
DNA test during COVID, because I was obviously not obviously I wasn't working. I'd taken redundancy in November 2019, thought I'll take a little bit of time off and then get a new job. Oops. That took longer than expected. But during that time, I took a DNA test and found my blood family. Interestingly, through one of my aunts, who's actually 6 months younger than me, who's in the States, her son wanted to find out how Irish he was. And I'm more Irish than he is, and I'm not very Irish. So, quite amusing. Actually, my blood family, my adoptive family, probably are more Irish. My mother was 3 times great. Grandparents were Irish, but not on my side.
And now you're creating their profile?
Yes.
So
I've got the second profile that an adoptee is allowed to have, which has got my blood family growing off it. I've put both my I'm still attached to my adoptive family because I still have members of that family alive who don't really understand the whole sensitivity, and to them I'm a Harris, which is my adoptive name. In fact, I'm married, but I don't use my husband's name. I've stayed a Harris. And yeah, awkward. So until a couple of those politely turn their toes up, I shall stay with the Harrises and not with the Walkers, who are actually my family. But I've met a lot of them, and I am considered to be one of them. But there are members of my adoptive family that difficult.
So you were accepted by your biological relatives.
Yeah.
And do you have?
Although my mother was actually still alive when I got in contact with them, but not very, and she had dementia. But she had banned the family from finding me. She was a bit of a one. I have 3 half siblings. She married 4 times. None of us share a parent.
Oh, wow.
I was the only one that was adopted, though. The rest weren't. So.
Did they know of your existence?
Yes, they all knew of my existence. And bizarrely, my mother called me Julie. My parents, so the people I called parents, had no idea, they say, and they called me Julie. So how weird is that?
That's wild.
Wow. Wow.
So it's
And were
really
they
difficult
looking
for
for
my
you?
blood family because they only know me as Julie. So they'll
Yeah.
keep I'm afraid I hate being called Julie. It isn't my name. And although it is my name, I've now discovered.
Oh, wow.
Hence Jules. That's the easy way out because it's easy to
Mhm.
just say that and not upset anybody. So.
And when you found them, were they looking for you?
Yeah, they
know
wanted
you
me,
existed.
but they had no way of knowing. They
Mhm.
didn't know what my adoptive name was. And because my mother had said no, she would have been the only one that would have been able to start that research.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
it was because I found them. They were over the moon to have found them.
That's good.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, what a great story.
Mhm.
And you've been working on the Kent County team.
Yeah.
What kind of
I got
challenges are you facing? Maybe you want to call some people to help or join,
Kent
maybe?
has a lot of profiles. It's quite a big area in terms of the way England is split up. It's by no means the biggest county, but it's one of the biggest counties. And we've got a lot of profiles. So the team is quite large. That is a member of the Kent team. But we're doing our best. We've got rather a lot of suggestions, rather a lot of unconnected profiles. So we're gradually working our way through them. I like connecting, although because our suggestions was so sorry in terms of a very large number, I have been cutting down on those, going through the big ones. Darling span anchor errors are my annoyance at the moment.
Bugbear.
That's the early
well,
GEDCON course, or GEDCON, however you pronounce it. So.
And you were trying to motivate also the people to connect.
Yes.
What would you describe as the best
So
feature
if
of
you're
connecting?
a
What do you
person
like about it?
if you're a person that likes puzzles, the idea that someone's sitting there all lonely and unloved and not connected, they might have a husband and a couple of kids, but they're still kind of this little isolated
Bubble.
Mini world of their own. I
Yeah.
like the idea of trying to find people to connect them to. It's a puzzle for me. It's nice if it's an unusual name, or the village is unusually spelt, or they called their children by multiple unusual names. It does make it somewhat easier. If you've got Mary Smith, which in England would be about the most common name you can think of, it's hard. But if you've got, Sophia Granville, then you stand a much better chance. So we're kind of, I like to do that. And also some villages, in England, particularly in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, they didn't move far. So it's relatively easy to find people maybe from the next village, or you can find those connections just by searching on villages. And the Kent records aren't imaged very well, but they are fully digitized. So you've got the entries, you just can't read them, can't go back through a register and read the pages. But you can sometimes if you go into Ancestry. So I've retained my Ancestry. Actually, I've got Ancestry, Find My Past, and My Heritage, just because I'm interested and I like the resources that they provide. So I can sometimes find the ability to browse through a register, which really helps. So
Yes, of course. And
but
that's
it's a real feeling of winning when you actually connect one.
well, you're a puzzle solver.
Yeah,
I see that.
I spent a lot. I used to be a member of the Sussex team, which is the next one of the counties that's attached to Kent down. Yes, the England project asked me to take over Kent, and in Sussex, I was working on the unlinked one, so just a profile with nothing. So that can be, you can add 12 profiles to get one attached, but also that's part of the joy of it for me.
Yeah. And you said also you like the joy of a well-researched profile, and how by researching you can get to know a family which you didn't know anything about.
Yeah, I mean, and you see, a father that starts off as an agricultural labourer and perhaps ends up as a farm bailiff. So he's obviously, getting more senior. Some of them just say agricultural labourer, and through time. But it's nice to see a progression. And then suddenly a child becomes a schoolmistress from that family, and you're like, wow, how did that happen? So I like that, looking at the professions of people as time goes on. I mainly do work in the 19th century, but occasionally go back into the 18th. Records become more difficult in England at that point. So.
Yes. Well, and finally, I would like to highlight what you said as your tip for anyone who wants to get more involved in our community. And you said, just jump in. We are a friendly bunch. And I love that.
We are a friendly bunch.
Yeah, but we should use it as a motto, like WikiTree. Just jump in. We are a friendly bunch. Yeah,
I just found it. I joined. I did a thon and joined Discord, and everybody was just so welcoming and helpful. And I was, bashing around almost in the dark, trying to work out how to prepare, and the leaders were really kind in saying, well, here's some I prepared, and try these, and it just made me feel loved and wanted and welcomed. And I try and do the same thing for other people when they're new to Thons. So I'm a member of the Mighty Oaks for the Thons. We get new members. I think I don't know whether we're having one team or two this time. We never know until people register and we hit the too many people and have to split.
The oak tree has to split because there's just too many acorns.
Yes.
We have the roots and the branches.
That's right. I love it when that happens.
Yeah.
Do we have any mighty?
Then we have a little bit of team rivalry too, which is
yes, that's right.
Although I did enjoy the WikiTree games because there wasn't that pressure to hit the top levels. It was just I don't know. It seemed less pressured to me to try and do the most. It was sort of research was more important. So I can understand why the toddling tortoises do what they do too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mel was saying hi to her team right there. Well, I guess we don't have any mighty oaks. Because nobody and is also saying hi to the terriers.
My heart is with the toddling tortoises. I just cannot just sort of leave a profile without putting, sort of birth, marriage, death, and all the records that I can find, because it's just sort of like, oh, will I ever get back to it? And yeah.
There you go.
Well, yes.
Well, using the sorcerer means that the profiles aren't poor quality. My original ones were, so I did have a lot of work to do after the Thons, but now because of Rob Pavey's fantastic sorcerer, it does mean that my profiles are much better.
Yeah, that is a huge, great tool.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because the Thons and the profiles we do just in a rush are a great source for the Profile Makeover Challenge.
Nice segue there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that cue. Well, let's make you for the Profile Makeover Challenge that I will share for this week. Thank you, Jules. You're invited to stay, of course, with us. For as long as you want,
Mm-hmm.
you can comment and
correct me
just
when I make
participate.
mistakes.
Yes. Let's see. There you go. Okay. Are you seeing this chat profile?
We are now.
Yes.
Okay. This is Donald David Gerhardt, which had, poor thing, he had this sad profile, and his biography was wife Angie, children Donna, Greg. That's all we knew about him.
Just the facts, ma'am. Just the, not even all of them.
Very executive.
Yes, executive summary.
Oh yes. Well, better this than nothing, right? And well, no very official sources. It says personal family knowledge and sources, and just one link. And we had a sticker. Donald was a Jehovah Witness. Jehovah. We say Jehovah. Okay. So this profile was made over by Asher. Is Asher around?
Is Asher?
I haven't said yes to her.
Haven't seen her in the chat yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah. So she transformed that sad profile in this. Well, we don't have a picture. We usually don't have a picture for all our ancestors, but this is a smart way to symbolize something. And you can see he's a man.
Yeah, that's not the default icon, is it?
No, it's not.
I don't know. No,
it's nice. Not. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got this is elegant. Yeah.
Yes, and smart. And this background is like plain, neutral.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. And now we have a biography and proper sources. We have at least 11 sources.
Wow.
And we know from this that Donald was born in Hamilton County, Ohio. He had a family. He had spouse. Oh, I don't see any children. But Donald lived with Angie, his wife, in Los Angeles, California, and he worked for a drug company doing inventory control. Oh. And he arrived from Bermuda. Oh, he made a trip. And he passed away at 58 in California. And we have a picture of his gravestone. That's awesome. We had nothing from him. And now we have the census image for his family. And this is smart too. I love this kind of detail. Asher made this image where she highlighted the family. So we know where to look, and we don't lose the image of the official source.
That's so helpful.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice detail.
That's pretty easy to do. When you take a screenshot, there's an edit button, and you can box something off. So that's smart.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it is nice to have the whole image, because often I have been tempted just to take the lines of the family, but the header at the top often has information to decode, but also other information about the time or the date or the location.
Exactly.
It's especially useful for those of us that aren't used to seeing the census records of a country where we don't reside. Yes. So I know how English census records work, but I don't know how so I don't understand what all the columns mean. So that's really useful for people like me.
Yeah, and you get more info. Maybe you can see who the neighbors are. I don't know if there are some other relatives in the same census sheet. You don't know.
We get that a lot in UK ones. You'll see families are next door to one another. There's a whole list of them.
Yes.
Well, and now we have a lot of sources, even military records.
Wow, nice.
Marriage. Well, great. This is a great work and generous work from Asher,
Yeah.
because she didn't have to make all this this work.
That's nice.
But she did a great job.
Mhm.
And she's not even related to this Gerhard, for what I know. So thank you, Asher, wherever you are.
Yes.
I wonder if the two children may possibly still be alive.
With
But
that,
there are
with
no
those
children.
dates,
Yeah, we don't have them mentioned here.
in the censuses,
I
there's
mean,
not
in the bio.
right.
Not in the bio.
Yeah.
It may be that they are still alive, and she's recognizing their right to a bit of
Yes, I'm
anonymity.
sure they are here in the record, because we had that in the sad bio. We say Donna and Gray.
Is that the 1930 or 1950? The 1950 census, maybe.
1950. Oh no, this is 1930.
Yeah.
Says above.
They won't be there yet.
We have four children.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
That's his family, like when he was a kid.
All right.
Gwendolyn, there's a lovely name.
Well, yes.
It's so British.
So if he was born in 25, then by the time of the 1950 census, he would have been 25. And
does it say when was he married? He was married in 48.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's their siblings. Oh, we need to create some profiles here. We need three more siblings.
Right.
Well, this is a lot of work that you can do, generous work that you can do when you make a makeover, and that's what we were talking about, right? About the tortoises, the team. We usually don't want to leave these profiles unattended, or just with a few facts. We always want to go a little further. So that's the makeover for this week.
Nice. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Who's next?
Betsy, do you want to do the questions?
Sure. Yes. Let me see. I'm queued up and ready to go. So there we go. So, question of the week as we wind down 2024 is, what are genealogy goals for 2025? And I have to say this week's question, as always, but I really had fun reading these. This made for great reading this morning. What about you, Greg, Vicki, Jewel? Do you have goals for 2020?
Do I have any genealogy goals? Well, I have I have a whole pile of app improvements I had been hoping to do in Hacktoberfest, which I never got to. So that's on my list. But in terms of genealogy goals, I'm a little bit closer to solving the brick wall of my wife's no-nose origins. He was a foundling. And I'm a little bit closer in sort of narrowing down that. But I also discovered just a couple weeks ago, a couple new DNA matches of my own, of some other possible connections. So I might be able to go one more generation back on my biological Irish paternal line. So those are the two big things that I'm interested in, but I'll probably fall through a whole bunch of other rabbit holes between now and then. So I may not get any of that done.
I've got a possibility of finding my father, who's the one person who we don't know in the matrix, from somebody in Australia that's come up as a connection to my DNA. So she's going to share details of her English side of her family to see if I can get through to finding who my father was. I've got a possible name, but that's all. And I'm not even sure how old he is. So he probably is no longer with us, but because my mother was in her 80s and he was older than her, so unlikely.
Wow.
That's my hope for this year.
That's my that would be great.
Genealogical hope.
Exciting. Yeah. Well, my goal, of course, I have an eternal to-do list that only grows.
Oh,
But my goal for next year is to pursue some professional education in genealogy.
Ooh.
Yeah, I want to get a diploma. Well, it's not the first answer you have there, Betsy.
Yes, the best answer with
But
Dave
it's the
Draper.
same.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I will follow online studies, but
yeah.
on a Spanish academy.
nice.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Wonderful. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Classes begin in February. Oh,
That's
yeah.
soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Soon.
Well,
It'll be
that's
my Christmas gift for myself.
I have not after reading through the answers and how highly specific some people were, which is wonderful, because as we all know, to really do genealogy effectively, you need a
Mhm.
well-focused research question. And I was reading some of these saying, to myself, wow, these are great research questions. So I need to focus myself a little bit, and time is scarce for me doing genealogy right now. So I think my biggest goal is just to keep doing it a little bit every day, just to keep that momentum going and keep my brain in the puzzle, and it's fun for me. It's my reward, just do this one more thing and then you can find some sources. So along with what Vicki just said, best answer was given by Dave Draper, voted up by Rebecca Manley. And Dave says he'd like to take an online genealogy course to get certified at the first level. So good luck, Dave. That's I've done one of those, the Boston University course, the entry level one, and it was really, really a great experience. So, let's see. So Steve Soroka, I hope I'm saying that right, says that my family's based in the UK, but I'm delving back in time to find out more about our rare Polish surname of Soroka. There are probably less than 50 people with our surname in Europe and about the same in the USA. He's gone back 3 generations and found a few great uncles carrying the name from former Prussia, now Poland, to Chicago via Ellis Avenue and Baltimore. And he thinks he might need to find a few more of the migrating ancestors to help him. But he'd like to make, in 2025, he aims to make a connection with more recent U.S. citizens with the same surname. Alas, none are yet recorded on WikiTree. I aim to change this. So I feel like, and Jules mentioned this as well, too, that names, an unusual name can be so helpful. They can be really helpful, but also that, once you've exhausted, everybody that you know of with that name, then you're out of luck. So in some ways, when you have a slightly, maybe not a Smith, but say one of my names, Tudor, it's kind of like hope springs eternal, that maybe the next Tudor you meet will be a game changer.
So my question is, Steve Soroka number 1?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question.
There he is, Soroka 1.
Yes.
It's always cool when you find
he
out.
says his name translates as cheesecake. Fantastic.
For what?
His name translates closest as cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
That was in that trail there.
Oh, I love that.
Somebody asked if it meant anything particular, and he said the closest is cheesecake.
I love
Wow.
it.
Not fantastic hero or great huntsman. No.
Yes. And I wonder if one of his
surname that means cheesecake. I like cheesecake.
Yeah, that's great. Maybe one of his ancestors married someone named Anne Cherry.
Ah.
Oh.
And their children could be cherry cheesecake.
Let's see. M. Ross writes that my most important goal for 2025 is to continue working on her cemetery project. Currently has completed profiles for 720, or about 49% of the 1,476 burials in the Alton, Ontario cemetery. So her husband is related to or connected to almost everyone in the cemetery, and that the cemetery this project is absolutely fascinating to me. His history tells the story of early Ontario settlers. So, and she tells a little more about how there were only 15 to 20 founding families in the 1830s, and their descendants and other newcomers after 1850 intermarried for about 70 years. So Alton had, and Greg's going, because
I understand that.
Yeah. Do you know Alton?
I don't.
Okay.
But if I have one ancestor there, I'll probably have multiple ones. So I'm going to have to look.
Okay. Yeah. The Alton had about 400 people in the late 19th century, and the population remained about that number until the 1980s. So these intermingled families comprise about 90% of those interred in the cemetery. So here's the, I'll copy the link address. Everyone can check and see if you are related. There's the set. And so if you don't know how to do that, go to that category, and then up in the upper right-hand corner, there is My Connections. And you'll see if you have any relatives or connections in the cemetery. Brick walls was a common theme. Break those, get those. Like I loved Jules's backdrop there, the brick wall.
Nice.
So try and power through those brick walls. That was Lisa's answer, and many others said that. Lisa also said she'd like to try and write more about the lives of close family members who have died. Tommy Buck wants to increase his CC7 count to over 2,000, do Big Y DNA test, and possibly travel to my great-grandfather's birthplace. And then Oliver Stegan is involved in a number of projects on WikiTree, and so he seems to have a goal for each of those. Connect more some of the unconnected Osterman notables, and contribute more profiles to the Auschwitz 2025 project, establish connections to the common tree for those two of my 8 great-grandparents who don't have separate independent connection yet, and expand my wife's tree. Usually, further goals evolve as the year progresses. Anne Fiorelisi says her goal is to connect more of my cousins on the big tree, lower my watch list, and help others.
Nice.
John Tyner says, my goals are to enter more of my family on WikiTree to bring distances to others closer, using the B extension to show which profiles are not on WikiTree, but on his I think, John, do you mean those that are on your ancestry tree that you still have to bring over to WikiTree? I think so. So that's good. I've been working on that for a while, bringing everything over. And we have Lucy Salvaggio Diaz says, it suddenly dawned on me that if I'm half Sicilian, should at least half of my research be on that side of my ancestry. I've got some catching up to do. I'm trying to get more proficient with the Antenati website. Am I saying that right, Greg? You do Italian research.
Antenati, yeah. Antenati.
Since I do not read Italian at more than a Google Translate level. Wondering if I can get one of those AI thingies to help me.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, they're not really good at reading handwriting yet.
Yeah.
But one of the nice things about Italian records is that they always follow a formula. So you know, you can expect when and where certain things are going to be, and as long as you have, like, Family Search is a really good wiki for, you know, the Italian words that genealogy words to look for.
Yeah.
So you can use that to sort of pick out things. So
they're fairly standardized, aren't they? I've seen a few Italian.
They
records,
are very standardized, and depending on what range, some of them have it's mostly typed with just some handwritten part for the variable information. And then there's a range of 10 years where everything is written longhand in usually really poor writing because they had to write so much that their hands must have got cramped. And those are difficult ones to go through. But I actually tried an AI image translator, and it did not work well for me at all. So, but you know, that was 2 months ago, and who knows, things have improved so quickly in AI. Maybe next year is the year.
Yeah. Well, Lucy, whenever you're ready, you have all the power of the Italy project to help you. Yeah, next month even.
Who knows?
It's so fast.
Yeah. Let's see. Moving on to the next page. Marion Cerruti says her goals include answering some of the questions on the Bahama Triangle page to solve some of her family mysteries. So she has a family mystery free space page. Love that.
Like the Bermuda Triangle? Just moved to Bahamas?
Yeah. I guess so. Well, it says here the Bahamas Triangle is defined geographically by the Bahamas, Florida, U.S., and New York State, USA. So it's not a matter of Bermuda where we had transportation disasters, but family genealogists and family historians have become confused and gone missing at the keyboard during deep dives into the many unsolved family mysteries. That's very interesting.
That's funny. That's good.
The flow of immigration between the Bahamas, Florida, and New York provides the threads of the fishing nets in which genealogists get caught while they themselves are fishing for information. That's awesome. Okay, well, good luck. That looks like a fun free space page. And she writes, another goal is to find a kind WikiTreeer. Hello to all of you in the chat and those watching. A kind WikiTreeer to take over the management of the Died at Sea project. So I know, I think many of us have at least one profile that falls into that category. So if you feel called, Marion would like to know.
She's also a member of the Kent team, funnily enough.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
So Kent isn't landlocked, right? It's on a coast, or no?
It is. Yes.
Southeast of England. Yeah. The Thames runs past the top of it, and it sort of sticks out into the English Channel.
Okay.
Pip Shepherd writes, now that I've entered thousands of cousins and such, I really need to focus on biographies for my relatives. And then a lot of people mentioned Janet Cassidy, who gave the next answer, representative of people who want to submit a paper for publication. So she wants to write up the genealogy of Simeon Perry, an early settler in New York's Dutchess County, and submit it to New York GNB for publication. So good luck. And then this one, Tia Bolser wrote at length, and I summarized. But it was a really fun read. She's looking for pictures of her second great-grandparents, and then sorting out a mess and confusion over names and families, whether one family is really, are they two families, one family? And she mentions that things got confused by what was written on a death certificate by supposedly reliable informant, but things were, I have one of those too, Tia, my sympathies. And then she has submitted to Secret Santa for help with her Minnesota Niscotas. I like saying that.
Yes.
So there's the immigrants were a group of second cousins, just close enough to start a rumor that all Minnesota Niscotas are related, but not quite close enough for anyone to say how. So she wants to sort that out. And the Morrisons, sounds like there were some non-paternal events with the Morrisons, and she's determined. She said, "I'm going to bust them. It will be fun." And then she's looking for a burial location of William Clark, and she's tried all the normal avenues, but she's looking for the modern day address of it, and maybe actually traveling there. So good luck. Those are great goals. And then the last one that I've highlighted is from Christopher Maslin, who writes, "To finally break through the brick wall of my oldest Maslin, Jacobus Maslin, just knowing about this ancestral couple is floors him." And he says he's a young newbie to WikiTree, a newt. I'm overwhelmed by the greeting, kindness, and knowledge of folks here. I want to also be one and return the favors, and in 2025 want to help others tweak, update, and add to their tree as others have done with mine. And also in 2025, I'm going to rally every person I know to join WikiTree and hold their family trees and hard work onward safely for future generations who are looking. Yay, I love that.
That's great.
So I was inspired by reading all of that. I now know my resolution, my genealogy resolution. I'm going to try and do more with AI in 2025.
Oh, that's a good one.
I know, Greg, you've really done a deep dive on that.
Well, I've followed some. I've attended some lectures, and I've done a little bit, but I haven't really. I mean, the photo was the first big thing, and then it failed, and then I thought, oh, and then I got sucked into another rabbit hole. So, but I do want to get into that, and it's fun because every time I listen to another podcast that talks about it and how it helped, they use it for doing some busy work and so I think there's lots of possibility there.
Exactly.
Careful.
I mean, there always has to be a human at the wheel.
It does make me slightly nervous, as this is all personal information going into public AI machines and learning. I'm a bit nervous of doing that.
Someone gave some advice that if it's sensitive information that you don't just want like dumped into the algorithm pool, that you can do it incognito, just in the same way that Chrome will allow you to search incognito. You can do AI incognito.
It might be worth putting up some guidance, because otherwise people might start feeding large areas of the tree in, and that's not good, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you can ask any AI that you usually use or that you're beginning to use. Ask AI about you. Who am I? How would you describe me? And then you'll know what AI knows about you.
That's cool. It's like Googling yourself.
But that's a good exercise.
That's the next stage of Googling yourself, isn't it? So.
Yes. It's a good one. Ask it to write your own biography.
Okay.
It's because I work in information security and privacy. It's one of the things that I get a bit twitchy about.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. With good cause.
Well, I think
I
think many
have
of the big
a goal.
ones. I think one of the big AIs bots have ways to go into some privacy mode where they'll take your information, but they won't store it and they won't add it to the learning. As long as you trust them to do what they say about that.
Right.
Well, your Googles and your Amazons are probably okay in that regard, but I would question anybody that does anything in China, as an example.
Ooh, yeah. I think that'd be
Well,
So they may say things and do something completely different. So, it's on Alibaba. Question.
So I guess the key would be to read, I don't know, not reviews, but read up on people who've had experiences with that particular AI service.
And
yeah.
Neat.
Yeah. Well, we have.
I have a goal. I have a goal I want to share.
Yes,
Yeah.
share your goal.
Yes, I forgot. But when you read all those goals of our WikiTree mates, I remembered. In 2025. Yeah, they were asking about your.
Yeah, I know. That's what I saw.
Mug.
And people were already responding before I even had a chance to say anything, so I just thought I'd show it.
Yeah, I saw, but Anne Fiordalisi answered.
Yeah.
They all know it. In 2025, I'm going to Wales. And yes, and my goal is going to Ireland, John Tyner, to research on my ancestors.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a goal. I plan to do so.
Good.
I hope it works.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we have some pictures. We have 2 pictures and 2 ancestors. This is this is from Brenda Millage. Some girls in our neighborhood back in 1966. And she even has the names of everybody, and they are seated on Lucky, the patient horse. That's fun. And I love it when photos, you see it even says August 66. That's fantastic.
Oh.
So there's no doubt.
Oh, we're on one side. Yeah. Nice.
And then this one is from Yoke. Yoke. Is that you?
Oh.
Because I was visiting my aunt, I couldn't attend the last roundup when a photo of my father taking a bath as a baby was shown. To make up for that, here's a photo of said aunt and a cousin playing in a very similar, maybe even the same tub.
Wow.
It's the family bathtub.
Nice.
Thank you, Yoke. And one more week to send us your favorite photos. And now our 2 ancestors that we're celebrating today. First is from M. Ross, who we heard from also with the cemetery in Alton. This is the ancestor is her husband's 3rd great-grandmother, named Elizabeth or Betty Shillinglaw, who died on her connection was December 18th, 1881. She died at 94. She arrived in Canada from Scotland in 1830 with her husband and 8 children. Her youngest daughter, Agnes, died of cholera, very sadly, and was buried at Potter's Field in York, Toronto, in 1832. And she does have a picture on the profile with her youngest son, Joseph, and his family. The photo was taken in 1862. This is amazing for that date. And Betty is the one second from right with the white bonnet. Let's take a look. So let's see. The Dodd family. And she writes at some length about the surname and how it was sort of misspelled in some records. And that's a treasure.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Look at those dresses.
I know. This one over here, well, the 2 girls on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they even identified the boy on the fence. And someone commented in G2G about, it's really lucky that you had the names. And she said that the names were written on the back of the photo. And so then what she was able to do was look at the children who are alive at this date and their birth years. And sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, clever.
And the little ones are holding hands, right?
Look at that. Sweet.
Very sweet. Yeah. So I wonder if is that a cross or is that?
Where's that?
what I'm circling right here.
Oh,
Wondering if that's
No, I'm not sure.
It may just be a lamp or a.
Yeah.
oh, right, a lamp fixture.
I don't know.
Oh,
I think
it's the fence, the wall. There's a fence,
Yeah.
and there's like a
Yeah,
wall, and there's our
Mm.
pillars or something like that.
I see.
It might be a cross. It might be a lamp stuck in a sconce.
Yes.
It's a metal.
Yeah. Right. Well, thank you, Em. Thank you for sharing your husband's third great grandmother with us. And our second ancestor to celebrate is Dee's father, Milton Lorenzo Spencer. And I know Dee's in the chat. So we should have brought you on, Dee.
Yeah.
This is an amazing profile, and it shows, of course, what the tribute you can pay to an ancestor who you knew throughout your life, as you do with a parent mostly, and it's very eloquent, full of social history. So his connection to December is his birthday. Milton was born on December 4th, 1925 in Milwaukee, and he is part of the U.S. Black history heritage. But what was a theme, a truth and a theme throughout his life was that Milton was racially fluid. And by that, I mean that he could pass for white, and he chose to do so at various points in his life. For instance, on his military records, but it was a very Dee writes how difficult a choice it was, because it had consequences, and it meant that he had to be estranged. Well, he had to separate himself from certain members of his family who were not making that choice or not able to make that choice. So very, very. It's such a hard part of our history, and Dee, I want to say thank you for sharing that with us and writing about it, so that as I read the profile, I not only learned about your father, but it just made me think and learn about this part of social history. Milwaukee, I didn't know, is nicknamed the Selma of the North, and so. Yeah, I will put the Actually, can someone put the link in so that I don't leave my screen? Sure. It's Spencer 25402.
25402.
Correct. And he also writes about segregation with real estate, and how the counties had racially restrictive covenants that excluded Black families from living there. And this caused families had to make very difficult choices about whether they moved to a different county, or whether they tried to pass for white, or very, very difficult choices. And this was still going on as late as 1858. Which was 10 years after the Supreme Court outlawed judicial enforcement of these covenants. They were still trying to, a few counties still had them. So Milton worked he was a taxi cab driver. He, of course, served, as we mentioned, he was in the military. Let's see. Okay, so before in the military, he worked as a taxi cab driver, also a truck driver, and then later he went into real estate. But he served in World War II, and we have his military records. And this quote, I'll just read this quote. As quoted in Choosing Racial Identity in the United States, 88% of Black men who passed did so, compared with only 39% of Black men who didn't pass. It was personally costly, the author stated. To live as a white person, a man moved away from his community, and if his family was unable to pass for white with him, would cut himself off from his family. The psychological and emotional pain incurred was tremendous. All of his suffering had to be done in secrecy and silence, which could have only added to the trauma. And then towards the end of his military service, he was serving in Alaska, where the U.S. Army was learning to really operate in the cold. They said that the Russians already knew how to do that. So here he is in Alaska in his Army service. And I also have to say, Dee did one thing in her research notes that I thought was really smart. She mentions, of course, we only have access up to the 1950 census, but she writes here, this is what the 1960 census will record, where the family was living, who was there. And then she gives, some the date for assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. helps put that in context. And then the 1970 census, again, who is in the family, where were they living? That's so smart, Dee. I think there are a couple of profiles where I might choose to do that.
Nice future proofing. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So thank you so much, Dee.
Excellent profile, Dee.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Great stuff. Well, let's move on to the profiles of the week.
I'm sorry, Greg. I went on.
Well, that's okay. That's totally fine. Where is my? There it is. So let me just go up here. So so there's the profile you were sharing, and the profiles, the connections checkers game this week. Just like a lot of sites and channels and news programs are all starting with the memorials, the year in review, that sort of thing. We're sort of doing the same thing, the 2024 memorial. And so it's all about people we've lost this year. And so I'm actually going to go through them fairly quickly because, first of all, we just lost them this year. So they're sort of many of them are just sort of top of mind. And many of them we've already talked about. There's a few here that are brand new to me, which is very cool indeed. So just going from left to right. Lewis Cameron Gossett Jr., born in 1936 and passed away the 29th of March this past year at age 87, Santa Monica, Los Angeles, California. And there's a note right at the top. Please do not create any of the living members for Lewis Gossett Jr. Now, does he pronounce it Lewis or Louis? Do we know?
I have no idea.
I think Lewis, but anyway, someone correct me if it's wrong. I always want to say Louis because of all the French profiles I work on and whatnot. But I think he does. I think I've heard Lewis Gossett Jr. But of course, he's an Academy Award-winning actor and performed on Broadway, in film, and on television.
Sorry, that was me.
Okay, I was thinking.
Everyone.
That's okay. Who did you turn off there? Was that me? Because it could be me. We're past the hours, so my automatic 1 hour do not disturb is probably turned off. Anyways, married 3 times. I believe Officer and a Gentleman was where he's most famous for, but he was also in Roots. I don't know what character he played in Roots. I didn't have a chance to look that up. But anyways, and he helped raise funds to fight against Alzheimer's, which is a very notable cause. Moving on, we have a French profile, Françoise Madeleine Hardy, who born on 17th of January 1944 in the 9th arrondissement of Paris, and passed away on the 11th of June of this past year at the age of 80. And she was une chanteuse, autrice, compositrice et actrice française. So that means she was a singer, author, composer, and French actress. Achieved great success, popular success in the 60s with sentimental songs and often melancholy. One like Tous les garçons et les filles, all the boys and girls, and the Ma jeunesse fut le camp. My youth, I'm not sure how to translate exactly fut le camp. There, flew the coop. I'm not quite sure. I wonder if Google fut le camp. Let's try Google. Let's see.
Out of all of us, I think you're the most French proficient, Craig.
Yeah.
If you don't know.
So I knew that foulecan had to be some type of saying or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's not one that I'm familiar with, but it says my youth leaves. So I was thinking it. I was thinking it probably meant like flew the coop or something like that. And so leaves. That's pretty close.
Good guess.
So that's kind of funny. Anyways, obviously a famous actress, and look how beautiful she was at the time in her heyday. Moving on, Glynis Margaret Payne Johns, and I recognized her name from this. I didn't have to read what she was most famous for, but do any of you know what she's most famous for? Her role?
No.
No. Jules, you're the closest to her because she was that's interesting. Okay, born in South Africa, but it was set in England, the film that she's most famous for. And her character's name was her first character's name was Hermione, I believe. But she was Mrs. Banks, the mother of the children in Mary Poppins.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that neat? But she also did other stuff. I mean, that wasn't the only thing she did. But for me, that was her most famous role, mother in Mary Poppins. Her career spanned 8 decades, so obviously more than just that one little year. 60 films, 30 plays, many television productions. A Little Night Music, she won a Tony Award for that. But anyway, interesting quote, acting is my highest form of intelligence, the time when I use the best part of my brain. I was always told by my married friends, for example, that I could apply that intelligence to something else, some other aspect of living, but I can't. I don't have the same flair in other things. But there's a picture of her a little bit later. You can see the Mrs. Banks in that, right?
Yeah.
And remember, she was a suffragette and, votes for women.
Yeah.
That was part of her role. Moving on, Toby Keith Covell. Died at the young age of 62. Born in 61 and died on the 5th of February of 2024 in Oklahoma. Singer-songwriter, record producer, country music guy. Blue Moon and Boomtown, Toby were some of his hits, records, albums. Passed away of cancer, I believe. Yeah, at the age of 62. So there he is. That is sad. Then we have Navar Scott Momedy. I'm not sure if is it Momedy or Momedy, Momadai. Anyone know?
I don't.
Don't know. Okay. An American writer, N. Scott Momedy, received in 1969 received the Pulitzer Prize. Talking too fast. Pulitzer Prize for fiction in his novel House Made of Dawn, considered the first major work of the Native American Renaissance. He was from Kauai or Kiowa. I'm guessing Kiowa, maybe like Iowa with a K in front. Anyways, he was born in Lawton, Oklahoma, in the Kiowa and Comanche Indian Hospital, and registered as having 7/8 Indian blood, which is his mother had claimed to have some degree of Cherokee in her, and then the profile is very good. Goes through all details about his literary credentials and progress and study. Small collection of poems there. Began teaching, and a Lifetime Achievement Award in 1992. Golden Plate Award. Lots of stuff. So very accomplished person, and lived to be 89. Martin Brian Mulrooney. Our Canadian content today is brought to you by a former Prime Minister of Canada. He succeeded. Interesting. He succeeded and preceded, like the prime ministers on each side of him. Both had fairly short terms. Kim Campbell especially had a very short term, because when he retired, or when he left the prime ministership, and she was only prime minister for a very short time, just a few months before the next election, at which point they lost. Her party lost. But anyways, he was very well known, sometimes not well loved by a chunk of the country. But anyways, like all prime ministers, they have their defenders and protesters. But anyways, very well known, and he passed away on the 29th, on Leap Day, 29th of February. Then we have Bob Newhart, who is my favorite of all of the people that we are remembering. I just love his sense of humor. Our family actually have the the LP, the record of his monologues, The Button-Down Mind of Bob Newhart, which has all these different sketches that he did there, and they're just they're like radio plays, and they're all one-sided conversations. Often, the scenario is talking on a phone to someone, to an agent or something, about something, and they're just
very funny man.
Very funny, yeah. One of them was like proposing the rules of basketball, before it was ever invented. Saying, I've come up with this great new game. It's called basketball, and and then trying to describe it, and it makes sense if you know what basketball is about, but if you don't know what it's about, then it just makes no, it's just really funny. Anyways, he passed away sadly on the 18th of July, 2024, at the age of 94, and we're going to miss him.
It's a good innings.
He had a wonderful
good innings. I love that phrase.
He was so droll.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Very.
Yeah, and you know what? He had to have a good sense of humor himself. I mean, he had those two big hits series, but to come back and then guest star in The Big Bang Theory, for example, right?
Oh, that's what I know him from.
Yes, he came back to do that, and even as a ghost. It was just Professor Neutron, was he?
I don't remember.
Yeah. Anyways, we have an Australian profile here, Lewitcha O'Donoghue, born in 1932 in Anangu, Pitjantjatjara in South Australia. Passed away this past year, the 4th of February, at the age of 91 in Adelaide. And she was an Indigenous rights activist, a nurse, and a public administrator. She was the inaugural chairperson of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Commission. And among her many honors, she was awarded Companion of the Order of Australia in 1999. And then in 2009 was given the NAIDOC Lifetime Achievements Award. So she was a member of the Ananga Pitjantjatjara Yankuni Tatjatjara people, an Aboriginal group, and she became one of the first to, if not the first, to study nursing as an Aboriginal person, and did lots of great work. The profile again details a lot of that. So Lewitcha was very, very well known and loved, and passed away at the age of 91. Virginia Catherine Rowlands, more commonly known as Gina Rowlands, did lots of work in film. 4-time Emmy Award, 2-time Golden Globe winner. Look how beautiful she was.
Oh, yeah, stunning.
As a young actress in 1961. But for those who weren't around to watch films back in the 60s, she might be more familiar in her role as she was the lady in The Notebook. So if I go to, with there's a picture of her down here. There we go. There's a picture of her as she appeared in The Notebook. That you remember she was in an old age home, and so she sort of she was being visited by her former beau, and she had Alzheimer's in that movie. But anyways, lovely actress, lots of awards and whatnot. Passed away on the 14th of August, 2024. Brian Thomas Wenzel, another Australian, born 24th of May 1929, and also passed away and passed away in Adelaide, same as Lucia, the last one we did. He died on the 6th of May 2024 at the age of 94. Comedian, director, and singer in the entertaining business for 75 years, including circus, which is cool. We don't often get circus profiles in our WikiTree roundup, but here we have one. Also stage, television, and film. Best known for playing Sergeant Frank Gilroy in the television show A Country Practice, which ran from 1981 to 1993, alongside Lorraine Desmond, and went on a silver Logie for the role. So that sounds like it'd be an intriguing series. I'm not familiar with it. I'm guessing it's an Australian classic. Yeah, his father was a grocer. He joined the Royal Australian Air Force in World War II. Anyways, very nice profile here. That's an interesting little pair. Young Brian Wenzel woke up in a Victorian remand home one morning to see only the dangling lids of a dead. Oh, that's very sad. We don't want to. Anyways, it's a very interesting profile. There was a sad thing there. I don't want to go on about that. Moving on to Jerome Allen West. Oh, I think the first one was actually a distant cousin, maybe.
My closest.
He's your closest?
20 degrees, yep.
He was born in 1938 in Cheyenne, Kanawha, West Virginia. Passed away at the age of 86, 12th of June, in Los Angeles. He was one of the basketball's best shooting guards, and he's famous because this picture here might look kind of familiar if you think of it in silhouette form.
Oh, wow.
His silhouette is the one that's part of the NBA logo.
Oh,
isn't that cool?
Yes.
Super cool.
Huh.
How cool is that? That's very cool. Anyway, he co-captained the 1960 U.S. Olympic gold medal team, which is probably one of the reasons why he was chosen they chose that for the silhouette. Yeah, for the logo. And inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. 12 times named to the All-NBA first and second teams, on the All-Star team 14 times. Obviously a great career. And way to go, Jerry. And then the last one is Dr. Ruth. Dr. Ruth Westheimer, born in 1928 in the Deutsches Reich, in Weissenfeld, Meter, Coburg, in the Bayern area, and passed away at the age of 96. So I guess if she followed her own advice, then she lived a happy, long life. On the 12th of July, 2024, in New York City, sex therapist, talk show host, author, professor, and Holocaust survivor, known popularly as Dr. Ruth, born in Bavaria. That's Bayern. That's how Bayern translates as Bavaria. She survived the Holocaust. She was sent to an orphanage in Switzerland by her parents. Lived in Palestine, studied in Paris, and then moved to the States. And there she is, smiling for us all. Mm-hmm. And that are your profiles of the week. So before we leave, couple things. First of all, in the mystery box, the app, let's see, load up, please. There we go. I talked to Alesh, and he has tweaked how the WikiTree Plus profile or server returns profiles, so it should no longer return profiles when you get a new box. So for old ones, it may not be applicable, but if you get a new mystery box, it should not return suggestions that have actually been marked as false. It should only mark true suggestions. So that should clear up some of the ones that we've had to swap. So if that's been a frustration for you, try it again, get yourself a new mystery box, and hopefully more of those will be true. Now, I can't promise that you won't get suggestions that someone else earlier on in the week has already marked as, has gone through and solved, because again, we are on a sort of a weekly basis in terms of that. But the exciting news was that this week we hit the someone solved box number 1000.
Wow.
Yes. So we have over 1,000 boxes. There's all there. Look at all those boxes. So we hit 1,000 on Wednesday, I think it was, and then now we've gone up to 1,029. And in the latest version, I've added a button up here so you can see if you were to go in and pick a mystery box, these are the numbers you have to choose from now. So we've got some still in the 900s, but a bunch of them are up in the thousands now. So that's pretty cool. So if you haven't done the mystery box challenge and you want to dive in, now's a good time. But we also have coming up, and in 40 minutes we start the Zoom to kick off the Secret Santa challenge. So
and Greg,
what's that?
Some people in the chat who are elves are asking where they can get the link for that.
Okay, Zoom. So that's an excellent question. I have put the link in the Discord channel. So if you are on Discord, go to the Secret Santa Discord channel. I actually put the link there and did an @here. So when you go to Discord, you should have a notification pop up. And if you go to that, there will be the link to the Zoom chat. Now, if you're not on Discord, then I sent a personal message to your email, whatever email is registered with WikiTree, and that should have arrived in your inbox early this morning, and that also has the link to the Zoom chat coming up. But there is yet another place. I also put the link to that in. Let's go to.
I'm sharing it here.
Oh, you're going to share it?
Chat.
Okay, it'll be there. But also in the G post. If you go to the Elves Wanted, did I put the link there? Yes, I put the link in the G post for Elves Wanted, and you can click on that also.
Greg, how many elves are there?
We have over 100 elves, just a little bit. What do we have?
Wow, that's so exciting.
102?
Well, 108. Well, actually 106. Two people registered twice. They were so excited they just couldn't help themselves. That's great. 102 or 100. So what did I say? 108, 106, 106. And Vicki went through and validated the wishes. Now, sometimes some people wish for more than one wish. You're only going to get the first wish. Some people wish for wishes that would have required us to find living people. We're not going to do that because that violates privacy. Some people asked for things where they didn't have a profile, so we can't do those if there's no profile to work from, okay? Or if the profile is shut down for privacy reasons. But we have how many valid wishes that we're going to be working on, Vicki?
368.
368. So that's a lot of wishes. So
officially, those elves are working.
The elves are going to be working hard. And officially, the elves Google Sheet has closed, but unofficially it hasn't. So if you're here and you want to volunteer to help us, someone did not turn off the Google form. So, if you were to go to that G post and click on the Google form, someone forgot to turn it off. So, we might take a few extra elves if you're interested. Jules, I noticed your name's not there yet.
And we need help.
We have some elves in Australia who
Yes, we have. I saw that.
That's excellent. Yeah, we do have elves from all over the place, so that's great. So I'm very excited. We've got a great group of elves, and we're doing things a little different. We're using categories, which is very exciting. We're actually using the tools of WikiTree to help us be more organized this year. But because we're doing it slightly different, I would really like as many elves as possible at our meeting at 12 o'clock. And if you made a wish and those categories were added to the profile that was associated with your wish, if you had two profiles, we only chose the first one. So you'll get a notification because of that, and you'll get further notifications as people add more research notes and stuff. So if you don't want to be surprised, don't follow the links and don't follow what's going on. Don't open up those profiles. But if you want to peek, That's up to you. We're not going to save all of our work in a free space page and load it up on the very last day, because that just becomes unmanageable. So people will probably just be adding to the profiles as they find things throughout the 2 weeks. So it's a fun challenge, and we're looking forward to it. So thanks very much.
And we have our meeting in 35 minutes. So
35
please,
minutes.
if you want to join, we need help. This is your last chance.
Last chance. Please join us. Yes. Yeah. So there will be a recording. The Zoom meeting for ELS will be recorded. So if you can't make it, or if you're asleep and not listening to us at this time, you can watch the recording. And I think we should, because we have to get ready for that, I think we should wrap it up shortly. But Betsy, you have a Newts meeting tomorrow, right?
Yes, we have a new member Q&A via Zoom tomorrow at 11 Eastern. I can put the link in the chat, the link to the G2G post. And are you going to show social media?
I can do that. I can do that, yes. The other thing that's happening with the Secret Santa is that we are doing the 12 days of Elfmas. And I have to go into bookmarks. And so starting on Monday, most of them will be at 12 noon, but we may have to shift it around depending on the special elf who is the special guest for that particular day. So every day there'll be a little video about one wish that was done or something about Secret Santa. So stay tuned for those. And there's the social media post. And coming up, okay, there's your Q&A. And then we have a question of the week, which we don't know what it is yet. Gorman will be the one name studies. There'll be some connection checkers. Athlington, Suffolk, is the place. The one place studies featured. Norway is the project of the week. And there'll be a Hall of Fame, a meet our members. And then we'll be back here for another roundup next week. The final roundup of the year, midway through our Secret Santa Challenge. And there we have it. So thank you all for joining us today, who are here in the chat, watching afterwards. And thank you, a special thank you, Jules, for joining us.
Yes.
Congratulations on your Members of the Week award.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Jules.
Have a great day, everyone. And Elves, we'll see you in half an hour.
Okay. Gotta run.
Bye.
Bye.